Hey folks, let you populate, then we'll get going for a very special edition of Mackey's dog almost died because he ate Halloween candy. The panic. So what are you guys trading today? Anyone making any money? Anyone not spend this morning in the emergency room with their big stupid Labrador who ate like 19 pounds of candy? Full pillowcase, give or take, and then Googling exactly why is candy bad for dogs, because they get something called theobromide that becomes a poison in their system. Their dog blood explodes, and so that's what my lab woke up this morning with a huge pile of vomit and the announcement that maybe he wasn't feeling so well. So we were at the pet emergency room, which is why we're a little scruffy this morning for panic, but we're focused because we're always working. We got Valiant trending, we got CMG, Chipotle, E. coli apparently on the menu in the Northwest. Are they into it there? Because it seems just like a horrible thing. Maybe if you didn't let all your meat products mingle freely in an organic way and then hug them to death before you served them, you would have less E. coli, but there's just no telling. All right, folks, we're fully populated. So, huge earnings week. We'll start with the stuff you're trending on StockTwits, and then we'll get into Mickey and why I'm not absolutely positive if he wants to hug me or kill me as the angel of death, not after last August. So, Valiant Pharmaceutical, during Ackman's 4-hour conference call last week, Valiant tanked something like 17% because somebody at Citron tweeted out that he was going to go ahead and announce damning information. This was Enron for Big Pharma. Well, they waited over the weekend, and Citron decided that maybe the legal team wasn't quite ready for the billion hours that they would spend countering any suit calling them Enron. And so Valiant now is up something like 8-9% at its highs, 5% during the day. It's a pig stick. I see that it's trending. I see that you guys are excited about it. Really, the issues here don't have a lot to do with how you should go about investing. It's kind of just, I'm not sure if I'm sad I missed this way of running a fund. I ran a hedge fund before we'd go on TV and run our book and then back off it and do silly interviews and look just sketchy as hell, which both sides do on this thing. But the problem that you got on Valiant is you have no way of guessing. Do they seem a little sleazy? Absolutely. Is the Citron guy seem like he's the arbiter of things that are honest? No, not even a little bit. It's just a trading play. The question here is, why are these funds long 20% Valiant? Why is any fund out there of any sort got maybe 20%, 30% in some cases of its fund long a single stock? This is what you're paying for, people. As fund investors, what you're doing is you're buying Mr. Ackman or Mr. Left or anyone else is involved, their discretion. And the way it's set up, their discretion isn't worth a shit, because the best way to make $1 billion running a fund is to put it all in about 4 or 5 different stocks and just ratchet up the leverage. That's the best way you get paid, because then if you're Ackman, like he did with Target, starting a specific fund because he thought that Target, if they spun off the real estate, would become a great REIT, that fund went down 90%. He lost everybody's money. He didn't seem to hold him back professionally because he's right now a billionaire doing other stuff with Valiant. In other words, a fund manager is incented to take ridiculous risks, go on TV, talk his book, hype his performance based on nothing. He has no real downside other than he has to disappear for 6 months. The idea of actually running people's money with any discretion, well, not so much. That's kind of a dumb way to run money if your objective is to get rich really fast, which, spoiler alert, most people that go into finance actually do want to make a lot of money. And so you have these incentives set up that are just perverse, where Citron can say they're going to drop the bomb on this entire scam and then back off that statement all weekend. They probably made hundreds of millions off it. You can buy those dips if you really want to, but you're not sure how it's going to play out. So it just sort of seems like an area you don't want to go. One area you might want to go, though, Chipotle, serving E. coli. Now, this stock is down something like $7.50. I've never been long it before, but we showed on StockTwits, Howard and I, a couple weeks ago, a chart that looked like sort of a mesa, kind of a half-eaten burrito, if you will. Started about 600, Chipotle went up, topped at around 750, and then plummeted. Right now, you're at about 620. E. coli news, apparently a couple people poisoned up in the Northwest. Here's the thing. This is a dip that you want to buy if you like this stock. We've had enough of a pullback. We're down 150 straight points. and you run out of short theses. So we priced in that it's going to cost, you got to pay employees more. That's why the stock went down in the first place. Now you're pricing in an E. coli outbreak, which, bad news, but unless Chipotle responds by saying, you know what, we're coming out with a whole new division where we're going to specialize in E. coli, and then we're going to develop a synergistic division that treats E. coli. Unless that happens, this is going to be fleeting. This is going to be something that doesn't matter. So I think you can buy Chipotle here. I'd be looking at it. I'd be looking at it a lot at 615. That's trending, those two right there. And now, of course, Mickey. See Mickey? Hi, kids, look at you. I cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars when I missed in August. Disney reports this week. It's all the rage. Mickey, the gang, everybody. I hear people talking about the stock, and here's the problem with the thesis. Lots of energy before Star Wars. Lots of excitement going on there. Star Wars doesn't matter to Disney's bottom line. Star Wars will replace what's going on with the Avengers, hopefully. Hopefully you'll see some studios growth. But last year, and I know I've said this before, but studios are only making about 12% of the profits for Disney. And they've already spent the last decade first digesting Pixar beautifully, and then Marvel beautifully, creating the Avengers, which has been an enormous franchise. Now they're coming out with Star Wars. The best they're really going to do with this is get flat out of their studio comps. If Star Wars goes and makes $2 billion worldwide, $2 billion, that's a huge, big stack of money. It'll only be about 4% of Disney's total revenues next year. So I don't think it's about Star Wars. I think it's about media. You got reason to believe that there's enough skepticism built into the Comcasts of the world and the idea of the cord cutting that Disney will benefit and maybe get a little love on the stock side. It can bounce. It should bounce. If you Google me out there, you know I've been long this thing since they bought the whole Avengers because I like it. I kind of like to take profits, but I've kind of liked to take profits on it before. I don't know. You know, this is a lot of times in investing, you have to sort of weigh what the street already knows with what could surprise you. Right now, what the street should already know and should have already known going into August was that ESPN is an empire responsible for 50% of Disney's profits, and they got to figure out a way to replace that. That seemed to surprise Wall Street that folks are cutting the cord. That was a huge buying opportunity 3 months ago. They're going to say the same thing when they report on Thursday, and man, I just hope my week isn't ruined by that. But I'm long a ton of Disney. I'm not sure how to trade it in front. The stock has made a nice U-bottom. We're about 6 or 7% back from the highs of the year. It's come all the way back. Big, huge ramp there. It kind of depends on Iger's mood in the stock market in general, whether this thing rallies. I wish I had a better trade. I don't. Facebook is going to be phenomenal. If there's a consensus out there on anything, I've got a ton of long Facebook. I don't know that they warrant. I think their metrics are going to be awesome and ambiguous, which is perfect for a really expensive stock. You want Facebook to come out and say, holy crap, the adoption of everything with ad videos has been fantastic, but we're not going to give you specifics. And Facebook has sort of learned how to do that. So I think Facebook on Wednesday might be okay. I don't expect a huge upside pop, but I know the numbers will be awesome. Twitter, still on Twitter, still a little grumpy about it. Periscope's becoming a thing. If you notice more Periscope movies out there, you notice that there's a few of these now. We got Jim's coming out there. Everybody's trying to figure it out. Wheezy's doing it over at Bloomberg. It's going to be a thing. Now, they've offered no support to me or any of those other guys on doing these things, and that sort of captures Twitter in a nutshell. Look, I'm Twitter in a nutshell. They've got huge opportunity. They haven't begun to execute on it. But, you know, that's a lot of upside left, because when you're this bad at executing or perceived as this bad, every little thing sort of adds up into good. Twitter off the bottom has had Steve Ballmer invest, Prince Aloid invest, two guys who, by the way, if you've invested alongside them, you've been just skull hammered over the course of your life. You're long Citigroup and Ballmer era Microsoft. Those guys are on board, and then they initiated Moments, which doesn't look like a finished product. That has been responsible for about a 25% boost in Twitter shares. They get it a little bit right, and they win. They get it dreadfully wrong, and the stock slowly slogs to zero. Your questions, we got a time for 2 or 3, and then I got to go take my dog's fever and clean up another mound of freaking Halloween candy. Favorite stock for 1 and 5 and 20 years out. The smart thing to do is answer that question about 15 different times and then only save the copy that's right. The real answer is, I'm long about your Facebook, don't intend to sell it, but it could get really expensive if it works. I think the best days of Apple are probably behind it, which is not saying anything bad about Apple. Apple devotees, don't flame me about that. Simply becoming the hugest and greatest company of all time, it's going to be hard to match that particular act. So I guess I would go with Facebook, gun to head. No one really has a 20-year time horizon. That's insane. Not anyone else. GoPro, has it bottomed? No. No, it has not. Got to get some viewers, Mackie. Yeah, we're getting viewers. We're not really promoting the show because it's just a little tiny baby that we're playing with. We're playing with the format. You guys get to see the benefit of rehearsals. You have no idea. When we made Fast Money, I'm one of Fast Money's 1,000 maniac bastard fathers like Freddy Krueger. We rehearsed that thing for 1 year straight. These shows that you're seeing that I'm doing are nothing. I don't really want a lot of people to see them, to be honest, because we're kind of working with a different platform. There's a bigger idea here at work, simply that your media is broken, and this is a much more frank way to discussion. Visa on the dip. Yes, if you are so inclined to buy Visa, you can probably buy Visa. We want you on Fast Money with Josh. Josh and I share a special love, and it's probably not going to be aired on basic cable. I don't know. I don't think me going back to Fast is something me or Fast has really talked about, but, whatever. I don't know why I would, and also I live in California. One last question before we go. TikTok. All right, folks. How often do I broadcast? Every day at 10:30. Every single day. Even when I have to wake up at, say, 2:30 in the morning, hypothetically, because my Labrador is barking downstairs, and I think, what's wrong, fella? It's not like you to bark. Oh, I see you vomited up an entire pillowcase full of Halloween candy. Why don't we go to the emergency vet? Even on those days, which is like this exact particular day, we'll still be here at 10:30. Because you got to be regular, because it doesn't make any sense. The one thing that's not broken about broadcast television is airing programs at preordained times and then actually showing up on time. Right? I mean, that's the one good thing they got. Fast Money still starts at 5 at noon. CNBC's doing very well with that. That makes sense. All programs scheduled 10:30. I'll be here 10:30 California time. By the way, daylight savings time, new bugaboo. You know what? God didn't declare time. Okay, let's roll back time. The sun set at 4:57 p.m. I think I've lowered my expectations on the presidential search to the point that any guy who stood up there with a daylight savings time mandate where he just said, it will literally be morning in America the second I'm inaugurated because I'm pushing clocks back 2 hours and we're going to stay there so you don't have to go home in the dark so it doesn't become night before you can go to bed by 3 hours so the sun doesn't set. I would even make a pithy line. I would say, in Jeff Mackey's America, the sun will not set before 5 p.m. because that is a dystopian future that we will avoid. We owe it to our children and our grandchildren. I would vote for that person. The bar is that low. Just a standard daylight savings movement. It cost billions of dollars to actually roll the clocks back. And it's like a lot of American things, it seems to date back. The best argument for rolling the clocks back so that the sun sets at 4:57 p.m. is just this Protestant work ethic. If your life doesn't suck, you're not really trying, so we'll go ahead and treat everyone like mushrooms. Never mind the rickets, never mind the fact that we'll all get seasonal affective disorder and be depressed as hell. We just need to unsave our daylight. Amazon versus Walmart. Game over, baby. Amazon won. It's already over. It's Christmas, by the way. Was going to do an entire show on just that fact. Amazon came out and they announced that they're matching or they're starting their own Christmas sales. And we talked about it on Friday. Christmas started yesterday on November 1st. Merry Christmas, everyone. Really? Yeah, it's Christmas time. And happy Kwanzaa, happy Hanukkah. We're all around. Anyway, Amazon matched Walmart, Target. That makes the 3 best retailers extant. All about promoting already. So your margins are dead. This may in fact be the last year that anyone starts a Christmas sale because now it's always going to be Christmas. Every day is Christmas. It's like Twilight Zone. It's going to suck much more than you think. Thoughts on oil? Don't cost much. Best stock play for upside of Christmas strength. Maybe Abercrombie. There's going to be winners in retail, and we've got to see what they are. But again, man, if you want to talk about breadth in this market, There is none. And the bigger story on this Valiant thing is how concentrated funds are. And so, which is a long way of answering the question, what's my favorite stock? It's the one that everyone else owns, which brings you back to Facebook, which brings you back to Apple, brings you back to Disney. As long as they don't give fund managers a really tangible reason to sell, it's tough to short them because everyone else is dumping their money in. And why are they doing that? Because they're paid to make really stupid concentrated bets, and they're all losing to the S&P 500. Again, I can't believe how many people are along that piece of crap Valiant. It is an utter disaster. It's an embarrassment of a stock. It's just a momentum play that's broken, and yet everyone wants to trade it. You have no edge. You can trade it off sentiment. You can trade it off anything you want as long as you don't claim that you understand what's going on behind the scenes, because that's just a bunch of lawyers in mahogany offices. Anyway. All right, folks. You guys have a fantastic afternoon. We will see you tomorrow right here, 10:30 on The Panic. I'll have a whole new picture behind me. Have a good day.